the structure the volcano allowed. The volcano never sleeps. It breathes heat through the ground, exhales sulfur into the air, and reminds everyone nearby that the land itself is unfinished. And on its slope, where steam rises from cracks in the earth, someone decided to build a hotel, not in defiance of the volcano, but with its permission. At first, the idea sounded reckless. Volcanoes do not negotiate. They tolerate until they don't. The soil here was warm to the touch. Sensors recorded constant thermal shifts. The ground expanded and contracted daily, responding to forces far below human reach. This was not a place meant for permanence. To understand why this hotel exists at all, we have to return to the moment the site was chosen. The volcano was active but predictable. Lava flows followed known paths. Eruptions released pressure without catastrophic explosions. Locals had lived alongside it for generations, reading its moods not through fear but familiarity. Engineers arriving on site quickly learned what those locals already knew. The volcano did not behave like a single threat. It behaved like a system. Heat moved upward in channels. Gas escaped through fissures. Rock cooled, cracked, and healed itself over time. The danger was not sudden destruction. It was relentless change. Traditional construction failed immediately. Concrete cured unevenly in the heat. Steel expanded beyond tolerance during daily thermal cycles. Foundations anchored too deeply cracked as the ground shifted. Anything rigid became brittle. The volcano rejected stiffness. The breakthrough came when geologists reframed the challenge. The question was not how to isolate the building from the volcano. That was impossible. The question was how to exist within its patterns without interrupting them. The hotel would not block heat. It would vent it. It would not seal the ground. It would hover above it. Elevated platforms were proposed, allowing geothermal energy to pass freely beneath the structure. Materials were chosen not for resistance, but for tolerance, capable of expanding, contracting, and aging without failure. Designs grew lighter. Supports became sparse. The building took on the form of something temporary, almost hesitant, as if ready to step aside if the volcano demanded it. But hesitation carried its own fear. Could guests ever feel safe in a place where the ground was warm, the air smelled faintly of sulfur, and the land openly reminded them of its power? Could comfort exist where control was openly surrendered? As construction began, instruments recorded subtle changes in volcanic behavior. Heat redistributed. Pressure shifted. The land was responding. And slowly, the team realized something unsettling. The volcano was not being forced to accept the hotel. It was deciding whether to allow it. The sense of being evaluated settled over the site like ash. Every design decision now felt like a question posed directly to the volcano. Would this disrupt the flow of heat? Would this redirect gas? Would this provoke a response no model could predict? Early signs were subtle but unmistakable. Temperature readings beneath the elevated platform stabilized instead of spiking. Steam vents adjusted their output, not increasing but redistributing. The volcano was not intensifying. It was adapting. The building's light footprint allowed geothermal pathways to continue unblocked, and in doing so, reduced pressure buildup in areas previously considered unstable. For the first time, the data suggested something extraordinary. The hotel wasn't increasing risk. It was slightly reducing it. That realization ignited debate. Some geologists cautioned against false confidence, reminding the team that volcanoes operate on scales far beyond human timelines. Others argued that the design's respect for natural systems was precisely why the data looked different. The structure wasn't interrupting the volcano's cycles. It was stepping around them. Conflict flared when a new fissure appeared uphill from the site. It wasn't violent. It didn't release lava. It simply opened, exhaling heat and gas in a steady plume. To some, it was a warning. To others, it was proof that the volcano was rerouting pressure naturally, unhindered by the hotel's presence. Local residents weighed in with perspectives no simulation could offer. They noted that the fissure's behavior matched historical patterns. Nothing unusual, nothing alarming. To them, the volcano seemed comfortable. Still, fear persisted. Safety regulators demanded guarantees that could not exist. Insurance assessments fluctuated wildly. Even members of the design team struggled with the emotional toll of working in a place where the ground itself was alive beneath their feet. Then came the first significant test. A surge in geothermal activity raised ground temperatures across the slope. Steam vents intensified. Sensors flashed warnings. The volcano was shifting into a more active phase, not eruptive, but restless. The hotel responded instantly. Venting channels widened automatically. Elevated floors allowed heat to dissipate upward and outward. Materials expanded with intolerance, flexing instead of cracking. The building did not trap energy. It released it. When the surge passed, the site returned to equilibrium faster than surrounding areas. Silence followed. The data was clear. The hotel had not angered the volcano. It had adapted to it. But one question still loomed over everything. Had the volcano truly accepted the structure, or was it merely waiting, patient and unreadable, for a moment to remind them who truly controlled the mountain? Patience is a volcano's most unsettling trait. Days passed, then weeks. Activity remained elevated, but stable. No eruption, no collapse, just constant reminders that the mountain was awake, aware, and unwilling to be rushed. As the hotel neared completion, tension returned in quieter forms. Not alarms or fissures, but doubt. The data suggested harmony, yet the emotional weight of building beside molten forces pressed on everyone involved. The question was no longer whether the structure could survive the volcano. It was whether humans could truly trust coexistence with something so vast and indifferent. That trust was tested during a deeper tremor that rippled through the slope late one night. It wasn't violent enough to be classified as an eruption precursor, but it was strong enough to shake confidence. Instruments spiked. Steam vents surged briefly. The ground beneath the hotel shifted with a low, rolling motion. Inside the unfinished structure, engineers felt it in their bones. The building responded instantly. Expansion joints opened fractionally. Venting systems adjusted to release heat and pressure. Elevated platforms flexed, allowing the Earth's movement to pass beneath them without resistance. Nothing cracked. Nothing jammed. The hotel did exactly what it had been designed to do. But something else happened. Thermal imaging taken after the tremor showed a slight redistribution of heat around the hotel. Areas that had been warming unevenly began to cool more uniformly. Gas emissions stabilized. The volcano's surface activity smoothed, as if a subtle pressure imbalance had been relieved. The implication was unsettling. The structure was not just surviving the volcano's behavior. It was participating in it. This realization triggered the project's deepest conflict. Some scientists argue the hotel had become part of the volcanic system and should be removed before unintended consequences emerged. Others countered that the data showed reduced risk, not increased danger. The mountain was not being disturbed. It was being allowed to behave more freely. The debate reached its emotional peak when a senior volcanologist, long skeptical of the project, delivered a quiet admission. The structure, he said, was behaving less like an obstacle and more like a vent. Not in the literal sense, but in function. By refusing to trap heat and pressure, it allowed the volcano to breathe. Silence followed. The team faced a choice. They could retreat, dismantle the project before opening, and walk away from the unknown. Or they could accept the reality unfolding before them, that the safest path forward might be coexistence, not withdrawal. They chose to continue. But one final moment remained, a moment no one could predict, only endure. A phase shift in volcanic behavior, expected sometime within a year, would determine whether the hotel truly belonged on the mountain. The volcano was quiet, too quiet, and everyone knew what that usually meant. The phase shift arrived at dawn, announced not by explosion, but by silence breaking into motion. Steam vents along the slope intensified, releasing long white plumes into the cold air. The ground temperature rose steadily. Deep sensors recorded magma movement far below the surface, slow but undeniable. The volcano was changing its internal balance. This was the moment every model had circled and never fully explained. Inside the hotel, systems transitioned smoothly into their highest adaptive state. Venting channels opened wider, guiding heat upward without resistance. Expansion joints responded in quiet precision, allowing the structure to flex as the ground warmed beneath it. The building did not brace itself. It yielded. As the hours passed, the volcano continued its adjustment. No lava surfaced. No violent rupture followed. Instead, pressure redistributed across the slope, releasing through existing pathways rather than forcing new ones open. The mountain breathed, long and deep. The true climax came when thermal maps revealed something extraordinary. Areas surrounding the hotel cooled faster than expected. Gas concentrations stabilized. The phase shift completed without escalation. The volcano settled into a new equilibrium, calmer than before. The structure had not triggered the event. It had helped carry it. Engineers stood in silence, watching data streams flatten. Volcanologists compared readings with historical records and found no precedent. The hotel had not interfered with the volcano's power. It had respected its flow. By refusing to trap heat, resist expansion, or impose rigidity, the building allowed the mountain to behave as it needed to. When the hotel finally opened, guests arrived with awe rather than fear. They felt warmth beneath their feet and breathed air touched with mineral scent. At night, they watched steam rise under moonlight, aware not of danger, but of presence. The volcano was not hidden from them. It was acknowledged. Visitors described the experience as grounding, honest, humbling. They slept knowing the land beneath them was alive, and felt safer because the building did not pretend otherwise. The structure of the volcano allowed was never a triumph over nature. It was an agreement, a reminder that the most powerful environments do not need to be conquered to be inhabited, that safety can emerge from understanding, not dominance, and that sometimes the world does not ask us to stand firm. It asks us to step lightly, listen closely, and leave space for forces far older than ourselves. Subscribe to join the journey. The